Hello everybody, I hope you're having a good week. For this week's wellness video, I wanted to focus on maintaining a sense of calm or a sense of serenity in the face of the challenges that we are dealing with COVID-19. Because right now, the reality is that we are still sort of in a holding pattern, trying to figure out where this is leading us. And so to kind of be able to manage that in a way that we don't find too disruptive would be very useful. In the past, to help with that, I focused on two topics. One was on anxiety, and the other was on grief and loss. And with anxiety, if we think about where that's oriented, it tends to be more towards the future. The unknowns of the future make us apprehensive because we don't know what to prepare for. And I had some ideas on how to maintain distance from the things that cause us to feel anxious so that we can bring, or at least keep our anxiety at a manageable level. With grief and loss, it tends to be about the past. The expectations we had in the past about what was happening to us or what we were looking forward to had been taken away from us. And so with that comes a sense of loss, because these were the things that were giving my life meaning, and now I don't have them anymore. And whether that was, sports, or whether that was spending time with friends, or something related to drama or academics, it's like when those things are taken away from us, we experience that sense of loss. And in order to move through that, we need to turn towards it, acknowledge what it means in all of its pain, actually, in as much detail as we need, sharing that with other people so that our relationship with those things that we were looking forward to can change to accommodate the new situation that we're in. And so to get into those things, there's a story I wanted to tell you, and it involves a new student of Zen going to the monastery, having left his village for the first time, and getting into a monastery. And Zen temples and monasteries are traditionally very difficult places, both psychologically and physically. And so going into that environment, you can imagine him being quite apprehensive and quite nervous. When he finds his teacher, he says to the Zen master, he says, "Will you please teach me?" Almost after introducing himself to try to show how eager he is to succeed here. And the Zen master looks back at him very calmly and says, "Sure, have you eaten your dinner?" And the student is a bit taken aback by this strange question. He says, "Well, yeah, I've eaten my dinner." And he goes, "Well, then wash your bowl." And so the idea is like to have that sense of serenity. If we can't focus on the future because there's some unknowns there, and to focus on the past brings us about that grief and loss, it's like, well, then what's happening for us right now? What can we do in the present moment? And for us, I think we're lucky in some ways, and that is that we're still in school, or if you're in a place where you're not in school, hopefully you're finding things that occupy your time and that also give your life a sense of meaning and purpose and a sense of accomplishment. And if you don't have something like that going on, like your school is actually out of session, ours happens to be continuing in session, which gives us that sort of sense of daily purpose. But I would encourage you to find something like that, to throw yourself at, to have a sense of purpose or a sense of meaning. Something tangible, something concrete, a new skill, a new hobby, learning to do something different on the computer, whatever it is. The other thing is with social connections. So to maintain those social connections, it won't be in person probably because of social distancing, but some of those social connections can be pretty well sustained through doing things cooperatively, whether that's games or whether that's chats online, whatever it is, but to keep those sense of social connections, because that present focus will help us navigate that space between the future, which can have a fair amount of anxiety to it, and the past, which can be about grief and loss, which hopefully we're moving our way through. So there's a saying from, and I'll end on this point, but Viktor Frankl, who was an Austrian neurologist, but also a Holocaust survivor, having lived through 4 different camps, if I remember correctly. He came up with he has a very nice statement, which was, "When we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." And while that's a big ask, I think in the situation that we're in with COVID-19, it's worth looking to change what we're focused on, or at least tracking what we're focused on. And if you feel that pull towards future considerations and anxiety, pull it back towards the present. If you look to the past, you'll feel that sense of loss perhaps, and yes, work through those. But if you focus on the present, what can we do right now that's meaningful and rewarding and keeps us connected to other people? That should be very, very helpful in maintaining that sense of serenity and that sense of calm. So good luck with all that, and look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to putting together some different topics for next week.